Hi guys, it's Chloe, and so today we're going to do a yoga class focusing on the new moon in Pisces. So I've got my new moon crystal on here. This is actually a black moonstone, which is super appropriate for a new moon, as a new moon is a dark moon. With this new moon in Pisces video, I would also like to mention that there will be the gift of a little ebook in the description box of the video. So it just talks a little bit about manifesting on new moons, a little bit about moon cycles, and it has a bit about how you can use crystals in your manifestations. And it's got a few links to some useful resources for all of that, so enjoy. I'm going to go over to the mat now and read you a little passage about the Pisces new moon. One moment. So out of the Emma Howarth Astrology Almanac 2024, it says, new moon in Pisces, London 9 AM, New York 5 AM, LA 1 AM, Tokyo 6 PM, Sydney 8 PM. On Sunday the 10th of March, a super new moon in Pisces offers up a peaceful path to progress that's more about going with the flow than grasping for more. The final sign of the zodiac Pisces knows the true value of an ending is a fresh start it leaves in its wake, which makes this the perfect new moon to believe in the possibility of a dream come true. Think fantasies made reality, meaningful intuitive downloads, and soaking up the magic of life in the slow lane. And then it has some new moon intentions for your sign. I'm just going to quickly bear through those. Go with the flow this new moon. Aries, forgive someone you might rather forget. Taurus, don't be afraid to ask for help from a new or old connection. Gemini, set your thoughts on a serious work goal and start making it happen. Cancer, make a bucket list of travel intentions for the future. Leo, accept an offer of financial help and make it count. Virgo, put someone else's needs before yours in a romance. Libra, leave an unhealthy habit behind as you invite vitality and well-being into your life. Scorpio, step into the spotlight like the star that you are. Sagittarius, celebrate your chosen family as much as the one you were born into. Capricorn, have an overdue heart-to-heart before it's too late. Aquarius, aim for a financial upgrade and don't stop until you've hit the jackpot. Pisces, shake off the self-doubt and start owning your magic. Lovely, lovely. And just remember, any of those can apply to any of your placements. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, all that jazz. And so if you wanted to check out as well where to buy any of this sort of jewellery, I will drop a link into the description box. Also, I always forget to say, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because that way the channel can grow. Now, let's come to our yoga practice. I would like you to come into a cross-legged position with the soles of the feet touching. Your two little fish feet, because Pisces rules the feet, are just going to join together there. And we're going to grab hold of them, maybe take your thumbs around the insteps. Doesn't matter if your hips are higher up here, you're going to be lower down. Allow your hips and your knees to rest where they want to. I'm just going to do these little bounces, like little butterfly flutters in our bound angle position. Just awakening those hip flexors. Pisces is a very emotional sign, so we're going to work into the hips a fair bit today to release any trapped emotion, and so we can then go with the flow by releasing the tension. Now we're going to bring one foot close to the pelvis, cross-legged position again, and let the other just fall in front of us. Take one hand to the mat, ground it in, and inhale the other arm up overhead as you lean to one side, really stretching through that lateral side of the body, all the way up here. Take some deep breaths here. Try to connect to your breath and release any intrusive thoughts. Switch hands, other hand grounds into the mat. Other arm comes up overhead as we stretch through the side body on the other side. Maybe you'd like to just close down the eyes here a moment to help you ground in. Really engage that pelvic floor so that you're grounding in nicely. Feeling that nice stretch at the side body. Sweep that hand down. Plant the feet. Ground the hands just behind the hips. And we're going to start window wiping the legs from side to side. They don't need to come down all the way down to the mat. They can be higher up. Just again, opening up those hip flexors. Maybe you want to roll up onto the heels and sort of curve round on those heels to make this a nice fluid, swooshy movement of going with the flow like Pisces. Lovely. And when you're ready, we're going to keep those knees bent and take one leg and have it parallel to the top of the mat if you can, in this sort of angle. Flex out that foot and let the other foot come knee bent behind you at an angle. And again, flexing the foot in this sort of deer pose. Again, opening up this sort of upper part of the hamstring and the hips. And when you're ready, we're going to take a little love gun. So bring your hands, you can stay supported here on the fingertips, or you can bring the hands into a little love gun. And we're going to rotate, so start to lift the knees and then allow them to fall into the same position on the other side, and point your love gun out again when you get there. And then pull that gun in to the heart space, shift it round and point it out. I'm going to try and do this a little bit faster. Inhale the gun to the chest, exhale, lower the knees down. Inhale the gun to the chest, exhale, point it out, while those knees are coming up and down on the inhale. Knees come up on the inhale, down on the exhale. Sorry, I said exhale before, I meant inhale. Inhale, knees up, exhale and down. Inhale and up, exhale and down. Beautiful. If that was tricky with the gun, you could also be switching like so and giving yourself a little bit more stability and support through the hands there. And we're going to do one last one and then come onto the hands and knees, stacking the shoulders over the wrists directly and the hips over the knees directly. Nice flat back here, looking down at the mat, so we've got a nice straight spine. Inhale and dip the spine, look up a little into your cow. Exhale, push into the ground, curving the spine in your cat pose, exhaling. Inhaling into your cow, exhaling into your cat, push that ground away, round the shoulders. Inhale, arch the spine, exhale, round the spine. Inhale, arch the spine, exhale, around the spine. Beautiful. Now we're going to take one foot up off the mat and start to circle the knee, the bent knee, up, behind, down and round in a circular movement, pushing into the mat with the hands, opening up that hip space. Lovely, and when you're ready, switch to the other knee. Same thing, opposite side. And when you're ready, switch the direction of your circle. I can't remember if I did both directions on this side, so I'm just going to quickly even it out. And then, when you're ready, we're going to go into some donkey kicks. So my donkey kicks, I'm pushing the ground away like this, and then raising one foot up and kicking it up to the sky, causing this sort of curving, little bit of a curve in the spine. And then rounding the spine, allowing the knee to come in. Inhale, leg up. Exhale, crunching around the spine. I'm going to do 4 more. Fab, lower the knee, switch sides. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we did 8 on both sides. I'm not really counting that well. Now extend one leg out. In fact, I'm going to extend this leg out. So I'm extending out my left leg. Whichever leg is closest to me, extend that one out. And then we're going to tap, 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 tap. Rainbow, making a little rainbow shape from side to side, sort of crossing it over that bent, the foot of that bent leg. Lovely, and then we're going to stick it out to the side and come into some swinging gait. Have a little roll of your wrists. If you're like, oh, my wrists, give them a little bit of love. You can come onto the fists here as well, if like you're feeling like the flexion in your wrists is like, oh, ow, a bit. So you can come up onto the heel of the foot here, or keep the foot planted, up to you. I'm going to shift the weight forward and lower the hips down. I like to point my toes up to the sky in flexion here and on the heel, but you may keep your foot flat here. And then push down. I lower my foot down to the ground as I exhale and do a little shatter around the arm here. So shattering the arms, you're putting a small bend into the arms and just catching the torso. I'm going to do 3 more of these. So I'm exhaling as I do my push-up, inhaling as my hips go down. Maybe that was 4 more. I'm not sure. And then this leg that is extended out, we're going to sweep that behind us and pivot on the knee, coming onto our side. You can be up on the full arm here, so holding yourself up through one straight arm, like so, or you can be lower on the forearm, up to you. I'm more comfortable here, so I'm going to take it higher. And when you're ready, in this sort of side plank, I'm going to start lifting the straightened leg and tapping it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I did 4 before that, so yeah, a good amount. And we're going to pivot round to the other side of the mat on those knees. Lovely. And extend the other foot behind us and do those rainbow taps on the other side. Lovely. and take out that foot to the side. I'm just going to shift forward a bit so I don't kick my crystals over. And we're going to do swinging gates. Lovely. And then pivot that leg behind again, pivot on your knee, pivot behind, straighten the leg out behind you. Come into that sort of side plank and start tapping. Do about 8 here. Or 10. I think that was about 10. And now we're going to lower down onto the forearm, bend both legs and do some little clam legs. So hold yourself up on one forearm and just allow the knees to open and close like a big clam mouth. Plump, plump. Maybe imagine blowing some bubbles out. Underwater vibes because we're in Pisces season. Lovely, and pivot on your bum, switch over sides, come down onto that forearm and clam on the other side. Clam, clam. I don't know what I'm doing. La, 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 la. Lovely, and when you're ready, come onto the hands and knees. Step the foot furthest away from me. This is my right foot into a lunge shape, stacking that knee over the ankle so your knee's not overshooting. Lovely. And we're going to straighten it and pull back and point the toes up to the sky, allowing a nice stretch to your hamstring. I'm up on the fingertips here. You can also be up on 2 blocks here for more space. I'm going to inhale into our lunge and exhale into our half Hanumanasana and flow through like so. Lovely, and then end on a bent knee, nice stacked one, and pivot this back knee until you are raised up on it, keeping the other knee and hip externally rotated and stacked over the ankle. Lovely. I'm going to find a sort of kneeling Virabhadrasana, warrior 2. So open your arms out, gaze down the arm that's over the bent knee. Fab. When you're ready, we're going to tilt so that one side of the body is causing a nice stretch up the side body. Rest the other arm on the inside of the bent leg as the other one is raised overhead. Take some breaths here, try not to dump any weight into that stacked knee. Fab, and when you're ready, bring them back to neutral. Then we're going to reverse the arms, so arms are going the other way. Back arm comes down to inner thigh on the other side. Other arm comes up overhead. Lovely. And we're going to swoop the arms down to the mat. Walk ourselves around to face the other direction. Find that lunge on the other side, making sure that knee's stacked. And we're going to come into the dynamic Anjaneyasana or lunge to half Hanumanasana. Half split. Exhale, half split. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Flow through about 5 or 6 of these. Good. And remember, wherever you needed blocks or used them before, keep travelling them with you around the mat so you can use them again. We're going to pivot on that back knee as we did before. Maybe adjust your legs a little bit, keep this one externally rotated out and the knee stacked over the ankle. Virabhadrasana, opposite side. on the knees. Look down your arm. Exhale and tilt and create that nice stretch up the side body. And that sort of a kneeling side angle. Switch the arms over, curving into our sort of reversed Virabhadrasana. Feeling that nice stretch up the opposite of the side body. And windmill your arms back down to the mat. And we're going to step both feet out as wide as the mat. Option here to come into your ragdoll by grabbing opposite arms, opposite elbows, sorry. Sway the weight, shift the weight into those grounded feet from side to side, putting a soft bend in the knee and just swing. Let the neck be soft, the spine be long, lovely. And then we're going to come into a deep forward fold, so just shifting the feet together until they are a comfortable distance apart. You might want your blocks here to bring the ground up if you find it is challenging to reach the floor today. And fold. You might want to keep a soft bend in your knees here if this is your first fold of the day. It is for me. So just a quick demo of that with the blocks there. If you can reach the floor, good for you. The blocks are your friend, remember. And we're going to roll up. Oh, we're not. We're going to take the feet wider apart, sorry. And then you may want your blocks here as well. We're going to lower, come up onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees and lower the bum down to the mat. And then straighten the legs out, coming into this sort of halfway lift. So you might want your blocks there, or you can be up on the fingertips. And we're going to exhale to hit the butt down. Inhale the butt down, sorry. And exhale and fold. Inhale the butt down. Straighten the legs, exhale, fold. Inhale the butt down. Exhale and fold. Straighten those legs out. Maybe keeping that soft bend if you would like it. Now we are going to walk the feet together and roll up through that spine until we're standing in our mountain. Hip, feet a nice distance apart for you. Engaging the thighs, tucking the tailbone in, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears whilst keeping that tailbone tucked in. Beautiful. And now we are going to bring the hands to heart center and just pivot out so that our legs are about a leg and a half distance apart. Fab. And then we're going to step it all the way over to the short edge of the mat, so that we're now on this long side of the mat. Beautiful. We're going to raise the arms up overhead. Maybe you can touch the hands together here. We're going to inhale and side stretch into a crescent standing shape. Back to center. Take it the other way. Exhale and stretch through that side body. We're going to come into those Chandra Namaskar moon salutations, to welcome in that moony moon, that new moon. Open the legs out. Turn both sets of toes to face out to the short edges of the mat, so your feet are externally rotated all the way out. When you're ready, you can have your hands on your hips for this. Start to tuck your tailbone in, suck in your core and bend the knees, really grounding down through those feet, and start to sink the butt down to the mat. Just going to demonstrate that from the side so you can see that the spine is lowering in a straight line so that my bum's not sticking out like this. Fabulous. And when you get down, see if you can bring the hands to the heart center, or maybe sweep them up over your head and then power back up through those legs. Fab. Now, my left toes are going to stay facing the short edge of the mat, while my right toes swivel back to the front of the mat. I'm going to open my arms out. I'm going to reach behind me a little bit. And then start to shift my weight. You may want a block here. Pop a block in your sort of instep area of your foot, inside of the foot. And reach and shift, tilting in the side body at the side hip here. And lower that hand down to your block or towards the ground, or lightly on any area of your leg that feels comfortable to bend down to. Peeling the chest open, fingers point up to the sky in your triangle. Maybe you can reach the ground here, just make sure that torso is nice and straight up and not sinking down. Windmill your arm down to the mat, keeping that front leg straight. Back foot comes to point out to about 10 past 10. And if you would like, invitation to fold over the leg. You can again be on your blocks here and keeping your spine nice and straight here, if you would prefer that. We're going to bend that front straight leg into a lunge, stacking that knee. Back knee drops. Inhale the arms up overhead. If you prefer to keep them on the hips, then do that. And lower the arms down to the mat. Now, if you can stay low here, we're going to keep the foot as it is and rotate the other hip open, planting that opposite foot in this sort of side lunge shape, our Skandasana. You can be up on your blocks here, or if you want to take it lower, you can rotate the foot onto the heel and bring the hands to the heart center for a balance challenge. Woohoo! Shift it over to the opposite side. Opposite knee starts to bend into that side lunge shape, our Skandasana. Maybe you want to take your little balance. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, hell no. And then pivot your hips around, stacking that knee, finding your lunge, your Anjanasana. On the other side. And lower the hands. Step up onto that back foot, turning out at 10 to 2. Front leg is straight in your pyramid. Option to fold over here, remembering if you need your blocks here. Fab, bring a hand to either a block inside of your foot or just the inside of your foot. Allow that back foot to turn out a little. And find your triangle here from the ground. Peeling that chest open. Maybe you can look up to the fingertips here. Soft bend in the front knee as you power back up. Straight. And then you're going to step it to the other end of the mat. Short edge. Arms up overhead. Find that standing crescent moon. On either side again. Fab. When you're ready, step it out wide again, about a leg and a half distance apart. Turn out your toes. Sink and bend, sinking the hips, bending the knees, lowering into your bodice. Maybe you play with your arms here. Fantastic. Turn the left toes in now. Turn your right toes out. Open the arms up in your triangle. Look in your star shape. Look down the arm and start to shift the weight and tilt into your triangle. Look up at the fingers if you can here. Windmill the arms down into your pyramid. Invitation to fold over. Lower the knee. Stack the other over the ankle. Sweep up the arms in the Anjanasana. And lower them down. Then rotating that hip out. Planting the foot on the extended leg. Maybe you're on your blocks here. Maybe you can take that balance challenge here in your Skandasana. You can bring your hands to the mat here to walk yourself over to the opposite side. Sink into your lunge Skandasana on the opposite side. Do your Skandasana and how it fits your body. And then rotate that hip in, down towards the mat, keeping that knee stacked over the ankle. Inhale up into your Anjaneyasana and lower the hands down, stepping back up onto that back foot, turning it out at 10 to 10. Maybe sink into your pyramid. Bring a hand inside the foot or to your block and find your triangle. I like to trace my fingertips up the arm, across the chest, and point it to the sky to make sure my chest is nicely peeled open. Put a soft bend in the knee, power up to standing, step it back together. Crescent, one side, crescent on the other side. Fantastico. So that is our lovely bit of moon salutations. Just take some breaths as you draw the hands back down to the heart. Woo. From here, we're just going to raise one foot and give the ankles a little rotation. Maybe you can have your hands on your hips here to help with your balance. Gaze at one unmoving point on the floor to help you with any wobbles, and embrace any wobbles that do happen. We're going to shift it over to the other side. Circly, circly, wakey, wakey ankle. Put the foot down. I'm going to just come up onto the toes or the balls of the foot a few times. Play with that balance. Look at that unmoving point, finding your dristi. Lovely, just waking up those feet. Wakey, wakey, sleepy fish. Wakey, wakey, sleepy feet. Two feet, two fish, Pisces, you know. I said at the beginning, Pisces rules the feet. And step it out wide into a sort of star shape with Utthita Tadasana. Clasp the hands if you can behind the back. If not, grab your opposite elbows or your hips. And start to hinge at the hips, folding forward. Grounding through those feet. Deep forward fold. Lovely. Now, from here, you may want to grab your blocks. If you are able to sink all the way down immediately into your yogi squat, please do so. Otherwise, turn your feet out somewhat at an angle. And then start to bend the knees. Engage the core. You might want to walk your feet in a little bit more than that. Actually, you might want to be more like hip distance apart. And lower the hips down to the mat. If you can only get to here and you need your blocks here, great, this is your yogi squat. Otherwise, you can try releasing the hands from the blocks and taking your hands to prayer, allowing the elbows to push the knees out. You can do this high up, you can do this on the ground in a full yogi squat. Have a little fight between your knees and your elbows, like, no, I'm stronger, no, I'm stronger. And just sort of activate those leg muscles a bit here, like a thigh master. If you know what a thigh master is, weird exercise equipment. Lovely. And when you're ready, we're gonna swivel the hips to the opposite side of the mat, keeping that knee bent. Finding that lunge again. This time, in our lunge, we're going to open the chest by sending the hands behind in a fist. Again, if this is not comfortable for you, you can grab opposite elbows, or hands can be on hips and just push the chest open. Here. Lovely. Then step the back foot forward. You might want to come to your blocks here. Step it forward into a half lift. Maybe you're up on the fingertips here. And when you're ready, we're going to the leg closest to you, so your closest leg to me. This is my left leg. We're going to lift it up and try and make a long line from our crown of our head to the tips of our toe here. I'm going to come on my blocks for a minute, and then we're just going to start to pulse, 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 and kick that foot up between a few inches each time, really waking up that hamstring. So do about 10 or 12 of these. Lovely. And then when you're ready, Bring that foot down, have a little rest. Maybe you want to raise the head a bit if you get any sort of dizziness by having the head too low for too long. So regain your composure. And then we're going to fold and touch the floor or grab the blocks. And we're going to go for a bit of a balance challenge and try and come into our warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So lift the leg, kick it out behind you so the foot is flexed, soft bend in the front knee, really grounding it through that right foot or whichever one you're one-legged on. Strong in the core, and then see if you can lift the hands away and balance, making a nice long line down your spine. Embrace any wobbles. Bring the hands to the mat if you feel like you're going to fall, or to your blocks. Fabulous. And lower it down back into your half lift. And come back up for a moment. Whew. Have a few breaths. I'm going to open it out to the long edge of the mat. Keep a block at one end of your mat here. Standing on this nice wide leg. Turn out your toes towards your block or the short edge of the mat. And we're going to come into that sort of as if we're going to come into a triangle. Opposite toes are facing the long edge. I'm going to shift the weight back, and then as we start to shift, we're going to put a little bend in that knee of the right foot and see if you can pick the back foot up, like so. Try and do it in a controlled way. Really activate the core, embrace any wobbles. Now reach down to your block and see if you can lift this back leg and kick it to the back of the room. Focus again, remember that drishti, that unmoving point, and see if you can raise that arm up to the sky. Maybe you can touch the floor here. Fabulosa. Making sure that torso is really peeled open and engaged. When you're ready, lower that back foot, bring the hands down to the mat. Drop back into your lunge. Maybe have a few breaths here. Rotate that hip out to your Skandasana. Maybe you travel your bricks to the other edge of the mat. Walk and shift the hips into Skandasana on the other side. Fab. And rotate that hip down towards the mat. Stacking over that right knee, finding that chest opening lunge again. Remembering if you are making any modifications here, what they are for you. And when you're ready, step it forward into your halfway lift. So moving your blocks out of the way. You can be up on your blocks here again, remember. And then taking the opposite leg here into that kicky thing. So you're going to start to pulse that leg up and down. This is my right leg this time. Whichever of your legs is the closest one to me, that's the one we're working on. Then maybe have a little break. Maybe bring the head up, so not too much blood is going to your head. When you're ready, we're going to try for that warrior 3, that Virabhadrasana 3 again. So grounding down through the left foot, and extending the leg out behind, flexing the foot, so like, imagine you're kicking someone in the face with your heel behind you. Very loving. Making sure your hips are both facing the mat, so they're rotated and even towards the mat. Engage the core, and then see if you can start to lift the hands up from the mat to your heart. Embrace any wobbles. Remember your drishti, your gaze point. Maybe you can take the arms out wide behind you like some wings and fly. And lower it down when you're ready. Fab. Step the foot forward. Come up for a minute. Maybe have some rolls of the ankles here, some wiggles of the hips, shake it out a bit. Release some tension. Fabulous. And when you're ready, maybe you want to get your block lined up. We're going to rotate it out so that all of your toes are facing the long edge of the mat. And we're going to set up as if we're coming into triangle again on the opposite side, but we're going to go for that half moon on the opposite side. So shifting and lifting, shifting into that bent leg, lifting the foot, tilting the torso, reaching the arm to the mat or the block, making sure that chest is peeled open, remembering your drishti, kicking that elevated leg back behind you powerfully. Embrace any wobbles here. Maybe you can come all the way down to the mat. This is hard to do. While adjusting to go from one to the other. Lower that back foot and rotate down back into that lunge. Take a breath. Then slide the other knee forward and come down onto your feet, tush. Your bum, that is. Don't know why I went all Scottish there. I had a dream I lived in Scotland last night, actually. That was really weird. Now bring your hands behind you, behind the hips, and come into a sort of boat, a supported boat. Begin to tap, 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 tap the feet. Switching on the core. Lovely. Then when you're ready, we're going to cross our left foot and see if we can get it to latch onto our right knee. I'll show you this from the front. So I've got this angle, this sort of right angle in the leg. The foot is flexed and the ankle here for me is pushing into that knee so that I can push my ankle into my knee and push the hip out here. See how my hip is moving? I'm sort of levering on my opposite leg. You might want to walk your hands back a bit to make more room for this. Play around, see what feels good. If this doesn't feel good at all, then you can instead have one leg in a sort of cross leg shape. Grab the ankle with the other foot and give it a rock from side to side, like your foot is a precious baby, precious child foot. And when you're ready, we're going to try and come into our boat, half boat here. So squeeze the feet together, the thighs together and the feet. Balance upon the bum, keeping that spine nice and straight. See if you can lift the hands here and take them parallel with the legs. Option here to instead support the legs by wrapping the forearms under the knees and sort of holding them in place. And lower them down when you're ready. Bring the hands behind you again. Lift the foot, switch it over and make that angle, that sort of pigeon leg, and grapple on to your opposite knee with the foot, making sure your foot's flexed. Have a little play, opening your hip here. Wakey, wakey hip. Ooh, should feel a nice stretch down here in the back of that thigh towards the pelvis. And when you're ready, lower it down. Take the fingers and point them to the short opposite edge of the mat. Plant the feet. And when you're ready, we're going to take a big inhalation and see if we can lift our hips off of the mat to have a flat stomach. Like so in our reverse table. Nice stretch through the shoulders. Oof! Squeeze the butt here, squeeze the thighs, engage the pelvic floor, and when you're ready, lower down. Fabulous! And we're just going to puff the chest here a little bit. Puff, puff, like you're pulsing your heart out. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. I have a heartbeat. Ba-boom. And when you're ready, swivel the knees beneath you. And we're going to come into an Anjanasana again. Come up high, put your hands on your hips or out in front of you. See if you can kick yourself in the butt here. Kick, kick, wake up butt, come on, get going. And then see if you can kick yourself in the butt and grab the foot. Maybe you can do it with one arm, maybe you can do it with both arms. If you can, see if you can balance and kick back into putting that leg backwards. You can maybe put your hand on your knee and have a play here. Then see if you can grasp the top of the foot and pull it towards the butt. You should feel a big stretch through the front of your thigh muscle here. Lovely. If this is all a bit much for your knee, you can use some padding under the knee, or you can avoid going that deep into a knee flexion. You could just stay in your Anjanasana there and just sort of play around with how high you can lift the foot. When you're ready, we're going to come into that sort of half Hanumanasana again and rotate the foot and start to play with shifting it from side to side, walking it from one edge of the mat to the other. So walk it to the opposite end of the mat so that it's sort of crossed along the front of you. So this strange angle, like it's crossed across the front of your stomach. And see if you can sink a little here. You should feel a really good stretch up the outer edge of the back of the thigh. Only fold to where is comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, we're going to see if we can come into our pigeon. So lower your hips down towards the mat as low as you can go. You might want a cushion here or some comfy-ish blocks. I'm going to get my foamy blocks here because my cork blocks are very hard and awkward and unpleasant to put my pelvis on and my fleshy inner thighs. And we're going to slide the foot. I'll show you that blocks first. Extend that leg back behind you, just as straight as you can while lowering the pelvis. And then this foot is going to be flexed and sort of work it towards so that the heel is coming to the inner, opposite side of the inner hip, the hip flexor. And see how low you can sink here. Keep it nice and upright. If you feel like you're a long way from the ground, you can stack those bricks under your pelvis and have a supported pigeon here. This can also be a cushion or bolster, and it's a bit more comfy for the hip area. If you are working on trying to get your right angle leg in your pigeon, then start playing with that straightening and bending in your sort of crossed over Hanuman leg. And then when you're ready, bend the knee, come onto the blade of the foot, so this side edge of the foot. Flex the foot and then allow the knee to open right out and lower, and see if you can sink the pelvis. Very deep stretch here, so only go for it if it feels comfortable and you know you've been working on your pigeon a while and you have very open hips. Lovely. Maybe you want to sink forward here in your pigeon, grounding through those hips. Ooh, juicy. Bring it back up and shift the leg back behind you. Take a few breaths in child pose wherever you are. Whenever you're opening your hips, take some really deep breaths and see if you can breathe the pelvis down to the ground. Connect the head to the mat. Allow the arms to be long. Sink the butt down to the heels. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can have a block under the head and take this higher and the hips higher. If this pinches in your back or is this messing with your sort of balance here. Lovely. Now we're going to step it forward with the other foot. Knee stacks over ankle. And we're going to extend the arms out in front or on the hips and kick, 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 kick the butt, kick the butt. Remembering what you did on the other side. If you need any modifications, see if you can grab the foot with one hand or both and draw the foot out. See if you can balance here. Maybe instead you flex the foot here and put one hand on that knee and pull the leg this way. Then see if you can pull it on the back of the foot and bring it towards the glute, feeling that really deep stretch through that quadricep. On the other side, if your knee is overshooting in any way on this leg, this bent leg, adjust and sort that out so your knee's not overflexed. Fabulous. Ankle roll again in our half Hanuman. We've been here before. You can also be up on your blocks doing this as well. If you feel like you're hunching as you're doing this, or the ground is a little bit too far away today. Then walk the foot over to the opposite side of the mat. See if you can fold here. And remember your pigeon. Where are you going to? Are you sliding that foot towards the pelvis and lowering? So just a recap, we'll show you from the front. So on the outer edge, the blade of the foot, lowering, bending the knee towards the hip, keeping that leg, back leg is always really extended out behind you straight. The toes are pointed. So you can be doing that pigeon, or you can work into your straight leg at the front pigeon, your sort of right angle leg pigeon, as we demonstrated earlier, remembering any blocks or any adaptations. And lower. If you were like, I hated all of that and I did not like the idea of going that deep into a pigeon, remember we did that deer pose at the beginning where we had the back leg bent and both feet flexed. You could be doing this instead also, and you can maybe try folding here. Whichever you do, make sure you do it on the opposite side also. So you've kind of got both legs at these sort of right angle-ish shapes. They can be tighter as well, with the hip closer to the pelvis, the heel closer to the pelvis, sorry. Lovely. Wherever you are, fabulous, well done. We've really opened our hips. If you got really emotional during any of that, just know it is normal, opening our hips, deep hip flexion. It can really, really open a lot of raw emotion out of you. Now, invitation to come into your fish pose if you already have it. So take the legs out straight in front of you, point the toes, and I like to come in from placing my hands on the mat and sort of lowering onto my forearms and puffing the chest up here, and then you allow the head to go back. If you're like, oh God, no, then you can stack some blocks and do a supported fish. Make sure the blocks are sort of bra strap height and lower the back here. If again you don't like this sort of vertigo feeling or the head of blood all running into your head, you can take another block or cushions. So you could stack your chest with cushions and put a block under the head and be here. So you're really opening up that heart space and getting this gorgeous little back bend going. So bring your hands, palms flat, tits be in a sort of supported fish. But without all that blood sort of running down into the crown of the head, making you go a bit woo. bit underwater Pisces, bit too underwater Pisces, but it's a beautiful, beautiful fish pose, Pisces pose. Open chest, open heart, and Pisces is all about the crown chakra. So sending that blood flow there is very awakening. Also really opening the throat chakra here if you do have it in you to go and allow your neck, your head, to come down to the mat. Fabulous! Embrace the Pisces vibes. Embrace the fish vibes. When you're ready, we're going to roll all the way down into a sort of corpse pose, but only momentarily, we're not done yet. Bend the knees towards the chest. Give them a hug, maybe cross the ankles over here. Massage out to your lower spine. Rock from side to side. Maybe you want to take the feet wide and the knees wide and bring the knees down to the armpits. Grab the peace fingers around the toes, or grab the blades of the foot and come into happy baby here. Choice is yours, or you can stay in little ball. Lovely. And then when you are ready, you can open the arms out wide and allow the hips to sink down towards the ground. Again, you can stick a block under there if your hips don't come down very low, or you feel a bit pinchy through the side of the hip. You can bring the floor up to you by putting a block under those knees and lessening that stretch in the outer hip. Gaze down the arm, or you can keep the neck looking straight up if you have any cricks in your neck today or any neck injuries. Take some breaths. When you're ready, knees come back up to sky. Pause a moment and then let them sink over. Ooh, forgot those blocks now. In the other direction. Again, invitation to gaze down the opposite arm. You can also bring a hand to the knees here, or a hand to the knees here. You can look down the other arm, whichever arm you like. Or straight up. Find what feels good in your body. Maybe you feel this more deeply through your lower back. I'm feeling it more on my lower back this side. And when I was on this side, I felt it more through the outer hip. Our body is different on different days. We think different things in different places on different days. So embrace wherever you are today and bring your feet back to the mat. Take some breaths. Lower the feet down, coming into your corpse pose. If you don't like being on the ground flat for too long, I invite you instead to come up to a seat for the meditation. I invite you to stay where you are. If you are leaving now and not joining us for the guided meditation, I thank you for joining me and allowing me to guide you through your practice today. I hope you tried something new. I hope you were loving to yourself and really opened your heart, opened your hips, embraced your emotion and the flow and the power of your emotions and the self-love for you today. Happy Pisces New Moon. Namaste. In your resting position, on whatever surface that may be, whatever position you are comfortable in, I invite you to take a deep inhalation. Feel your chest inflate and rise. On your exhale, feel the body sink deeper into your resting surface. Pisces is a deeply emotional sign of compassion and dreams. On your next inhalation, I invite you to imagine the breath washing over the body like water, cleansing out any distracting thoughts. Send them away like the ripples of the breath, like ripples of the water. Send the breath like waves to flush out any blockages, anything standing in the way of your dreams. The new moon in Pisces is here to ask us to honour and take seriously our dreams. On inhalation, I invite you to picture or invite a dream or desire, something you have been hoping for. With each inhalation, I allow and invite you to imagine it growing bigger and brighter. Embrace your hopes and embrace your dreams. As you sink deeper into your mat, I invite you to imagine roots growing from your body into the ground. I invite you to take a hand or a crystal or both hands to the heart. Or perhaps you would like to picture yourself doing this action and remain as you are. Imagine you are holding your seeds in your hand or your crystals in your hand. Imagine shining your wishes, your hopes, your dreams, your desires out from your heart like a light. Maybe now you imagine this light activating the seeds, the crystals, the dreams you hold, precious and full of hope, full of magic. I invite you to imagine planting each seed or crystal, each seed or crystal representing a dream you hold. Maybe you picture now a midnight garden, quiet, still and empty. The soil fresh, damp and cool. This is your space, your garden, to ground in, to grow and flourish, to grow your dreams and nurture them. I invite you now to picture yourself planting each seed or crystal into the earth, carefully and considerately, allowing them to settle and nestle into the plentiful dark soil. As each masses know that while they lie in this cool, still darkness, they wait. They wait for the returning light of the moon, the crescent moon. As the crescent moon creeps back, each glimmer of light that passes upon your seeds, your dreams, your hopes, your desires, ignites these wishes, ignites these seeds you have planted. As the moonlight passes over your seeds, feel it pass over your body. Feel it pass over your eyes, your face, your heart, your torso, right down to your toes. Allow the ripples, the waves of your breath, of the light of the moon passing over you to send out your desires, your dreams, and to know that they are growing. Growing as the moon grows bigger in the sky. Your magic is growing, your dreams are growing in the ground, in the self, in the soul, in reality. Imagine them flourishing out, poking out of the ground, reaching up taller and stronger. Maybe they grow crystals, glistening, magical, sparkling. Maybe they grow leaves, blooming flowers, winding vines and petals, the sweetest, sweetest smell of nectar. Allow this moonlight to travel through the body, down the roots into the ground, to nourish you, to nourish your dreams, to nurture you and yourself and your dreams, and know that they can happen. Now picture a scene as if it already is so, that you are walking in one of these dreams. You can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it. It is so. Allow yourself to feel the emotions as if it is so, to know that it is so. When you're ready, I invite you to come back to my voice, back to the here and now, back to the surface you rest upon, beginning to stir. Wiggling the fingers and the toes, temperature changes, following my voice back to now. And when you are ready, I invite you to rise and begin about your day, knowing that you have invested in yourself, in your dreams, in your potential. I thank you for allowing me to guide you through this meditation today. Happy dreaming. Much love. Namaste.